very excited, very curious to see where they go first. It's just a best of 3, so one map really sets the tone, and it will be Crowd Sinkhole.
Interesting.
Expect to see Hydron, I think, play a big part here for Disguise. In their win against Liquid, he had a huge game on Aquila. He's going to need to deliver that once again. See if Team MDY try to target anything with the ban. It's going to be the Elyseness ban down.
I don't think it's a great target ban up against Disguise, but as an all-rounder, I think taking Elyseness away is just fine. DSG haven't stood out to me as really relying on the Elyseness to create space for them, but at this point, especially with MDY and Disguise, maybe not scrimming each other nearly as much. I don't think that they have a lot of experience actually clashing, even in the couple of days that they've been here. I mean, it really... Steelers choice. Skyraider ban against MDY. Also not the craziest scouting that I've seen this tournament. It's just, I don't want to play against Skyraider.
Yeah, I mean, you know, the threat of some of those disruptor missiles, I think, could be annoying when you're grouped up trying to capture these points. See what the drafts are. Both teams looking into the pick phase now. Classic Stego Tricera. Both squads, no surprises. Definitely a comfortable duo for both teams. False and Feiju on their signature Welkins. That's going to be a big battle to watch. Going down on Welkin is very costly on Crowd Sinkhole. Usually gives the other team an opportunity to cap.
This will be a map as well where we can really see the impact of Mingyue, who's currently going to be on the Falcon. I'm not seeing any hovers on the other side for flyers or even things that can really deal with Falcon. Hydron and Dante both on Inferno and Aquila respectively. They're going to be put to the test because Mingyue can get extremely aggressive on Falcon, and it'll be a real test, I think, especially of Hydron's mechanics, who does have a few more tools to actually deal with Falcon on the sniper. If you can shut down Mingyue, you might actually just be able to straight up win this game, but it is a tall, tall order to put up to Hydron.
Yeah, Disguise are going to go a bit greedier with the draft, having a lot more tank-busting raw damage in the Inferno. However, the question is, can they actually bring that damage to bear? With Mingyue's harassing presence on the Falcon, it's going to be difficult to stay focused on the main group battle. And I think that's what Team MDY here, they're going to be relying on, putting that pressure on Disguise, making them make mistakes.
And nothing works quite like Crowd Sinkhole to say, okay, well, to distract you from the main battle, I'm just going to go cap this point over here.
Yeah.
It'll force DSG to split up, which is something that I'm not actually expecting them to be particularly well-versed in, especially because the very first day that we were playing, or that they were playing, we saw them take the 6-man escort on Eye of Mizra, which was a really cool thing to watch them do, but also really showed us that DSG are not a team that likes to split up if they don't have to.
Yeah, I think they're much more comfortable grouped up. Walking into the mid-fight, we're on board, Mingyue and Hydron. This opener is crucial. DJ Catlink set up. Playing very defensive posture here for Disguised. Happy to just trade from range.
All about what this Falcon is able to do. Hydron already with fluid armor broken, going to take a little bit more damage now, and Mingyue is all over him. This is the power of a Falcon, somebody that can focus you down without a care in the world, and Hydron needs some backup, but we've already got the box thrown down, and Hydron is gone before his team can even turn around. It's another kill served up by Cuckoo as well, and DSG, having lost one, are now likely to lose a lot of priority over this point. Jamran has already taken some forward space on the Tricera, and that's what the tanks are for, just creating a little bit more room. Feiju finds yet another kill, and Jamran going to take out Juby as well. So DSG down 2 temporarily, now should be opening things up for MDY to cap the point.
Yeah, one counter kill does come through, but it's not going to be enough. I felt Mingyue's presence on the Falcon was dominant in that fight. Hydron really just couldn't get anything done under pressure there. Proving to be real annoying. This is Dante running for the hills on the Inferno, trying to get back to his respawning teammates. Seems that the duplicates may have been enough for now. Sam, though, is also low. Mingyue taking some fire back the other direction. Just going to like to reset the gas here.
I call it a small win for Mingyue again, even though he doesn't actually find the kills, drawing 2 people to you and off of the center of the map. Going to still be really valuable. I think he's going to be able to hit the cap on point B as well, which will be a nice answer to point C that DSG were able to just cap. So DSG still getting some points on the board here, despite the fact that they fell behind on point A. Having one of the side caps could try and play for the other, or could re-siege A, and it looks like that's the second option that they're taking.
Cuckoo and Hydron, very important in the sniper duel here. Sam trying to get set up, taking pressure from range from this Aquila. Disguise what's going on the flank here. It's Mingyue on the Falcon, pressuring Hydron once again, knows how valuable this Aquila is, wants to take him down first. Hydron under tremendous pressure here, needs to get peel from the team. Juby trying to do it, but it's not quite enough. However, Speedery trades onto Feiju. Big trade for them. So Disguise 1-1.
Certainly not the end of the world for Disguise, but it's not keeping them in charge on the point. False actually tries to go for the sneaky cap, doesn't quite get it, and instead is going to play Disruptor, jumping onto Stego. Still has the box available, so we'll try and go for this again. But meanwhile, it is another capture thrown on by MDY, who take point B in the meanwhile, and now own all 3 points, with DSG not able to cap point A. They've given up a lot of momentum here. It's 265 to sub 100.
And it's a crushing performance right now for MDY, managing to hold on to all 3 points despite losing some players. Now, Mingyue on the backline on this Falcon, pressuring Inferno, denying Dante from dealing any damage. Everyone's low. Mingyue looking to route here in the backline, a little bit far away from his team without much support, but still putting the pressure on Disguise, getting so much done on this Falcon.
And it just completely forces Inferno away from the fight, into the corridor, burns a defensive cooldown as well. Mingyue is drawing so many people over, even speedily starts to move over to point C, just knowing that you have to be grouped up in order to defend against this Falcon. Feiju does have a little bit more wiggle room on the Welkin than some other strikers might have.
He's taking a lot of pressure from Dante, though. Has to back off to the main group. This guy's starting to put some pressure back the other way. Mingyue, though, wants to continue to keep them distracted, keep them looking on their flank. False under a lot of pressure in the front line. Would love to get a cap down. MDY has a couple players very low. Jammeren in trouble. Hydron now dueling Mingyue. This is a critical duel for Disguise. One that, if they win, could give them an opening. But the points are really getting out of control. Disguise has not much time to come back into this map.
Hydron's changed up the strategy, though, starting to use that quick descent a lot faster. Still haven't seen a point retake, however, from DSG. Those have been interrupted at every turn, and MDY, with 3 points to nothing, are large and in charge, still keeping DSG at sub 100 points overall. DSG desperately trying to cap the center of the map, the place where they've arguably got the numbers advantage, but just these small bits of damage are causing so many problems. Nice move by Speedily. Just goes to a point where nobody is. Yeah,
somebody's got to get the cap, and Disguise actually in the melee have grabbed both of the side points, but I think they're going to need a triple cap to come back in this. Dante over the top, sees an opportunity to pressure DJ Catlick, who's quite low. Multiple low players on MDY. Disguise, they're down 1, but they really need to find trades right in this moment. Feiju takes it right back into Dante, puts the pressure on him. These duplicates, though, proving to be annoying, hard to stick on that Inferno.
Yeah, we did see how the Welkin Inferno matchup pans out just yesterday. Not going to be super favorable for the Welkin, unfortunately, despite the ability to drop energy damage. And in fact, he's going to go down after all that trouble. Dante finding a kill, finding a little bit of an advantage for DSG.
Cuckoo diving in deep here, wants to trade back onto Hydron, but the flank comes in from Mingyue, who cleans up that kill. Now onto Dante. Mingyue continuing to pour on the pressure on this Falcon. He's just been unanswered this game. Disguise Toast not been able to trade anything back. Speedily holding down this C point, but feels like too little too late. Disguised on their last legs, the map slipping away from them here on Crab Sinkhole.
Mingyue on the Falcon, really playing the assassin role. We're seeing the difference between something like a Sky Raider, who does have more team utility, and a Falcon who is just unending pressure on a single individual. Jammeren playing defense on point B. Doesn't have to do a lot, just has to stop the cap by Sam. And with Stego, actually, Sam may still be able to do this. Is taking a bit of damage, but we haven't seen the cap just yet. It is 2-1 for MDY. They're coming up on those 1,000 points, and DSG, with less than 300 right now, the catch-up nearly impossible. It's just about claiming a few kills back where they can, and unfortunately, with 2 having fallen, DSG are largely going to be watching this from their friends' camps, because you're not able to play off your own.
This one's all over but the crying. MDY going to take a 1-0 lead here in the best of 3. Disguise, despite fighting well at some moments around the objectives, I felt Mingyue's presence on the Falcon was so dominant in that map, right? Disguise were really unable to convert even strong fights into objective pressure, so great understanding of the game here from MDY.
We knew coming into this that Mingyue was going to be an issue. Mingyue's been a problem, even for teams that MDY have ultimately gone on to lose to. The Falcon, the Panther, it's just an incredible distraction, an incredible backline isolator, and DSG really do rely on that very traditional approach to 6v6, is having a dedicated backline. And unfortunately in this game, it's a little bit more difficult to peel at the moment for your backline than it may be in titles that DSG are more used to.
Yeah, definitely a struggle for them trying to stay alive and dealing with the pressure. Maybe a Falcon ban could come through But like you mentioned, Mingwei, he has other options in the striker pool, other choices he could bring out and maybe deliver some of that same presence. So Disguise, ball's in their court now, facing elimination. What map do they go to? Where do they take it next? We'll get to that, but first let's talk about MVP. I mean, Mingwei, kind of an obvious choice, right? Like, I feel we're both on the same page there. Even if he's not the MVP statistically, I felt just the attention that Disguise were constantly forced to give to that Falcon, and the fact that they're never really able to clean him up, even in winning fights for them, they just constantly having to deal with that is so valuable in that match.
Honorable mention maybe for Feiju, who, you know, Welkins do tend to get a little bit more objective capture time, do tend to soak up a lot of damage from the team, and Feiju was very active on the front line, so I could see that statistically popping out as an MVP as well, but I can't help but agree. I think that when you look at team contribution in terms of not only what you're giving to your own team, but what you're taking away from the enemy team, it's got to be Menyue.
Yeah, have to agree. Falcon, so much presence there. Got to give respect to Kuku as well. A lot of those picks were set up by big damage from the Aquila, right?
Yeah.
Like the Mingwei comes in for the cleanup, great communication across the board for MDY that they're able to adapt and let damage from one striker turn into an opportunity for another. So across the board, MDY looking solid, looking well practiced as a unit and Disguised. A tough first map, honestly, to roll, right? With even being able to win some fights, they're just not able to convert into objectives, and I felt MDY was so on top of it with their focus on capturing objectives, on distracting Disguise. It felt like a map like Krabsinkel is tough to take on a more experienced squad.
Yeah, you're really going to want something that lets you play more together, and so for map 2, I think that we're probably going back to something like Graceland or Palm Bay, just because of how much that enables the team play that DSG should see as their strength. Hydron hitting a little SVP, but Menyue, no surprise to anyone, picked up not only a huge amount of damage, but contributed so well to the rest of the team, topping the score, at least in terms of merit points.
Yeah, definitely a huge performance. DJ Catlink as well, just always a monster in terms of the raw damage dealing on this Stego. Over 2 million damage in that map. But Menyue, not only was he popping tons of caps, he was getting assists, he was finishing kills on enemy strikers and dealing massive direct damage, top direct damage. I believe in that game, well, besides DJ Catlink, who is always on top of the damage numbers.
What are you going to do, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, your Stego player who, remember, even in your losses, is showing up on the SVPs. DJ Catlink has played really well, but I think it'll be no surprise to anyone, especially if you've been listening to us for the past 10 minutes. Menyue crushed it that game and has got to be, I think, target banned in the next round. Whether it be by map, maybe going Palm Bay where Falcon isn't as effective, or whether it literally just be by ban where you take out the Falcon and say, well, we'll see what else you got.
Yeah, that was such an impressive performance on a map like Krabsinkel where Falcon is particularly dominant. Already a great start to the series from Menyue. Clearly a heavy hitter for this MDY squad. Wants to stay alive in the tournaments. Take a look at some of the highlights. See how MDY were able to get it done on map 1.
Feiju doing a really good job. In fact, all the tanks on MDY doing a really good job. DJ Catlink, Jamren at taking space whenever DSG lost a member. Because this is a game with a very, very long TTK, it is incredibly important that when you do find that small advantage that you're able to convert it into a bit of space to play. MDY did that really well, especially at the beginning of the game where we were just focused on the 6v6.
Yeah. Main group fighting, also quite a strong point here for MDY, so no clear weaknesses yet shown. I have to agree with you when it comes to looking at the next map pick for DSG. Maybe something like a Palm Bay is that last respite where you can just stack it up, group up, play the team fights. They're going to go to Eye of Mizra, though. They were able to get the win previously here, but this is a confident pick, right? Especially thinking about somebody like Menyue, his disruption, whether it's the Falcon, whether it's the Panther. This is a map where he could really shine. And
this is going to put a lot of pressure on people like Hydron again, so I'm surprised to see the Eye of Mizra pick. I don't think it's a bad one because it can emphasize some really, really solid team play that Disguise certainly showcased at the very beginning of their tournament run. But it also means that if you start getting pressured as someone like Hydron or as someone like Dante, splitting up from the team, as so many often do, can be deadly. A Tricera ban comes out from Disguise, so they're really throwing the game into chaos. Tricera been one of the most dominant, one of the most popular strikers in the tournament. Being picked, I believe it was 96% of the time, so by hitting it with a ban, Team MDY respond with a Panther ban. Very interesting, so very curious to see what the draft is, especially for a player like Speedily, who's traditionally been the Tricera player. I can't help but just appreciate that these teams really haven't been scrimming each other, because MDY, had they been scrimming Disguise, would know there's not a Panther player in sight on Disguise.
I don't know if they've ever played Panther before, so it would be interesting to see that first timer in this map. Speedily going over to the Hurricane though. So Disguise taking a relatively conventional setup, just trying to replace that Tricera with Hurricane. Meanwhile, MingYue free to take the Falcon once again. Interesting choice.
DJ Catlink swapping things up to Welkin as well. Really interesting to instead let Jamron, who was on the Tricera, continue to play that central tank role, where DJ Catlink, now that we're finally going to see him off the Stego, I want to see how good of a Welkin he is.
Yeah, and Feiju going to swap over to the Elise Nace. Makes sense as a secondary for a main Welkin player. Dante sticking with the Inferno, but there's going to be a lot of pressure on something like an Inferno here. Lots of highly mobile characters here for MDY. So when it comes to the raw deathmatch game, I have to think they have a bit of an edge. Disguise are going to have to keep their formation very tight, very clean, to not let MingYue do what he did last game and pick them apart. I have a hard time expecting that to be the case, though, with how good MingYue has been.
I would really be emphasizing defensive Welkin boxes at this point in the game. Just if Disguised are able to stay together, stay grouped up, we know that they're going to have at least 2 central tanks with Welkin and still Stego available. So lots of ability to stall if you can keep your high damage carries, especially people like Inferno, alive, happy, and safe in the middle of a 6 stack. You could still get some serious value out of them, even if Aquila isn't in the skies.
Definitely possible. Got to remember on Eye of Mizra, there's also that big storm you got to worry about. Opening trades coming in here. Some damage already coming in pretty hot from Disguised. Team MDY taking some heavy pressure on their fluid armors. MingYue, though, wants to change that, wants to put the pressure back on Disguised.
Knows what he's about, especially with the downward spiral, and he's found Hydron. What's Hydron going to do now? Dipping back towards the team. Does look like the rest of DSG are there to back him up. Feiju extends a little too far forward, but on Elise does have the wiggle room to do so.
Disguised fighting well. Both teams now engaged in the brawl. DJ Catlink on the Welkin. Not his main pick, but he's kiting well, trying to stay alive desperately. MingYue continuing to pour damage over the top. So far hasn't found any openings, but Dante dropping low. Needs support from Juby.
Hurricane actually really helping out here, disrupting the ability for Falcon to pour in damage. DJ Catlink is going to be the first to go down, and a huge deal for DSG now that they found a numbers advantage. What can they turn this into? Speedily, though, going to be isolated and taken down by Feiju.
1-to-1 trade now. Disguised without their Hurricane. Can they stay alive? Hydron pops the second life of that enemy Elise. Now, starting to put the pressure on MingYue. Extremely low, bursting down.
Hydron shutting down MingYue is so huge. The one thing that he was unable to do last game even forces the armor pop out of Feiju as well. DSG with a key spawned at C now need to start making their move to take it, but I'm watching MDY take the cap, and now it's going to be about shutting down this transport from Jamron, who actually on Stego should be shut down pretty easily.
It's pretty tough to run this key in. Setting up though, electing to take the fight with the help of a Welkin. Dante pours on the damage over the top. Sam as well committing, but low on the enemy Stego. Disguise may have overestimated their advantage in this situation. Feiju, though, boxed in, doesn't have the second life here. Could be in trouble with the rest of the team, is alongside him, bailing him out, and Disguised, reeling, multiple players dropping low. Sam gonna struggle to fight with such low HP on the Stego.
I am loving this Hurricane pick from DSG. It's caused so many more problems for somebody like MingYue, and even Feiju, who is constantly getting locked onto these decoys, not able to rely on his own striker to lead him in the correct direction. Key cap actually happening, though, for MDYs. They've managed to escort the Stego all the way to the point. Jamron will eventually go down, but that's still 27 points that MDY were able to accrue in the meantime.
Yeah, they got a big cap, but Disguise looks like getting the team wipe here, getting big cleanups. MingYue now in the sights for Hydron.
One more shot.
Finisher comes in.
Nice.
LDQUQ is down. Hydron, a big triple kill in this fight. Wants to take the fight to MingYue. Knows what that Falcon can do. But at the same time, Disguise need to take this player advantage and take it to the objective as well.
Sam completely ignoring MingYue. Knows that you just got to get to point A, and the rest of MDY not quite there yet. MingYue says, you know what, maybe I'll just cap this before anybody gets here, and I think you might just get away with it. He's got it. That is a complete denial for DSG, even though they were making the move. Falcon's just too fast.
Yeah, and DSG looks like they're just electing to defend this turn-in position, run into less mobile comp. Maybe that's all they can do, but MingYue is going to be able to get a lot of cap time just being evasive here on the point. These guys are electing to just get stuck into the brawl, go for the kills instead. they're going to need to get a big team wipe for this to be worth it.
This has actually been a very good map from Disguised on a technical level. They've taken out a lot of threats. I think their team fighting is looking really good compared to last game. They're getting so many more kills. The big problem for them is the fact that it's Eye of Mizra, that it isn't just a deathmatch, because you've got to be coordinating where to go on Eye of Mizra. Even right now, Disguised are sitting on the point when they should be going to C, because C is going to spawn soon.
Extremely low. Dante being doved. Needs to get a little bit of support here, trying to do the damage. Feiju pops that second life. Dante now under pressure from Mingyue. Jubi doing his best to peel, trying to keep that crucial damage dealer alive in the Inferno. But there's so much focus fire from the rest of the squad, and the burst comes through. Mingyue getting the cleanup with the help of the Elise Nest lockdown. Disguise down to 5 players. 60 points against them. MDY tactically outplaying on this map, and Disguise, they're getting picked to pieces now. Only 4 strikers remain.
Mingyue and Kuku finally get some alone time with Hydron, and we find out why it was so difficult last game. Falls attempts to cap the point, but MDY already all over it in just the nick of time. 60 points to 8 right now, and MDY could stall this out a little while longer, though I'm sure they'll be going for the cap on C soon. Remember, with B spawning, MDY will have priority on that key as well, allowing them to split priority on these objectives.
Sam in trouble, getting focus fire. Where's the squad? They need to bail out this Stego, such a crucial centerpiece to the team, but looks to be going down here under the pressure of MDY. They're unrelenting. They know how close they are to a win in this series, to eliminating Disguise from the tournament.
Beju playing some really patient Delisnes right now, and it opens up enough space for DJ Catlink to on Welkin, pick up the key, start dash attacking all the way back to drop it off, and this should get MDY within touching distance at the end of the game.
Once again, Disguise feel that they just need to fight this one out. Gonna give the key drop available. Hydron, though, maybe a bit away from the squad. He's gonna need peels, gonna need support. MDY are capping it at the same time, continuing to keep the pressure on Disguise. False low on the point of the Welkin, wants to trade with DJ Catlink, who's happy to just stall this one out. And these 2 crucial kills going MDY's way. The key's about to spawn at B. These guys have to regroup. This is their last chance.
And with Hydron falling down as well, it is Disguised being taken apart. They kept their composure so well for the first couple minutes of this game, but now with Dante about to fall, it seems like the game is being taken handily by MDY, who have finally hit their stride on Eye of Mizra, and they've got their eyes now on the second round.
Absolutely. They're looking to stay alive. This could be the end here for Disguise. Just 1 tick of capture is going to be enough for MDY to secure the elimination. Mingyue, unbothered, unfocused on the objective. He's here for the kills, and the finish coming in for MDY. Eliminating Disguise, moving on in the tournament. They're happy to get this win. It was a dominant one, though, Dia.
It was. It even looked really, really close before any keys spawned, because GSG's team fighting took a huge level up from Krob Sinkhole to Eye of Mizra. But MDY's game plan, their approach to the strategies of Eye of Mizra, being aware of the objectives, and really having those make the difference was the biggest factor, because looking back at this, DSG, they actually team fought pretty well until it became evident that that wasn't the only thing they had to do.
Yeah, speedily, I think the Triceraband was great. He looked solid on the Hurricane. I think that was a key contributing factor. Got to give credit to Jubi as well. Kept up a lot of allies in critical situations. He looked solid on the Lumine. But I think that's a great point, Dia. When it came to those split objectives, the experience and the team play, the strategic vision for MDY was more than evident in this match.
Hurricane maybe had taken a bit of a hit in the win rate, unfortunately.
Yeah.
That statistical outlier getting a little more
one of the
even.
first losses, maybe the second loss from Hurricane.
Yeah, I think that's actually exactly it.
Yeah. So I think Hurricane has just been a really strong striker, one that has grown in popularity. And I think, despite losing this game, still looked good.
Yeah, I think that if DSG had had a little bit more polish on how they wanted to approach Eye of Mizra and not just 6v6 Mecha Break, we could actually be seeing Hurricane pick up another win, because that seemed like a very potent counter pick to the backline harassment that Mingyue was able to provide.
Yeah, once again, Mingyue, though, like able to snag some of those keys away, provide a lot of harassment from the flanks, be just so annoying, so constantly a thorn in their side. Got to give credit to Hydron on that map, though, on the Aquila. I think he really put on a show.
Yeah.
Had some big team fight wins and big pickoffs on the enemy strikers, but it was the overall awareness from MDY that won them that match. You know, that was a clear victory of team play, of understanding of the game, beyond any display of individual skill, which of course is there in MDY. This is a team that knows that to win here in this tournament, to go much further, you can't be fully reliant on that. You need to have the team chemistry to take us all the way.
Yeah, and I really liked Mingyue's cap on A, when he just sees his Stego running for the point and he goes, you know, I'm Falcon. I'm just going to go ahead and
I'll passing
take
you.
that. Yeah.
Let's have a race, Stego.
Yeah.
Let's see how that goes.
Yeah, I mean, but making good use of the Falcon, and it is something that I'm still excited to see Mingyue show up on. Also, Feichu swapping over to the Elysnes, I don't think worked poorly for MDY by any means, but DJ Catlink on the Welkin actually also worked pretty well in a way that surprised me quite a bit.
Yeah, I do think that Tricera ban struck at some of the heart of MDY's comfort picks, but they adapted really well. Multiple players went to their sort of backup secondary striker, but they still look solid.
Yeah.
Props to DJ Catlink for saying, hey, you know what, you take the Stego, Jamron. I know you're solid in the main group. I'll take the Welkin. I'll mix it up. I'll really change the script. And as you mentioned, it was good. Got some big caps there.
And I would go so far as to say that because of that ban, because of this change-up, MDY should be looking to scrim a lot more today, because that could have been, from a roles perspective, a little cleaner by MDY.
Yeah,
and
fair enough.
When you're looking down the barrel of the rest of the tournament, taking out DSG is going to be, of course, your first hurdle, but today we're seeing some really heavy hitters knocked out of the upper bracket, and MDY, I don't think, looked quite clean enough to take those games, so I want to see how they grow after having been challenged by DSG here to become a team that could take down Anubis, that could take down Lunabreak.
Mingyue, another MVP on the Falcon. Huge performance from this guy, not just